Well, I think we have an answer in the question of whether Justin Trudeau will stay or go. He's staying. Hi, I'm Brian Lilley, political columnist for the Toronto Sun. Joining me from the great state of Maine on the seaboard, Kenny Bunkport, Warren Kinsella. How the hell are you? And how does it feel to know that you're wrong, Justin Trudeau sticking around?
Well, I feel like I'm right about the people behind me. It's nice to be able to. It's the only political party I support is the Democrats, and it's fun to come down here and help them out as a volunteer. But I think Justin Trudeau desperately would like, Brian, what is happening down here. The center left is pretty excited about Harris and Walz. You see it everywhere. I've been knocking on doors, going to rallies, talking to political people. They feel pretty good about their chances. And the difference with the Canadian progressive center left could not be more stark.
Well,
The Trudeau guy,
it's funny. I'd like to get your reaction to a couple of things. One, he showed up at the cabinet retreat in Halifax on Monday, and shocker of shockers, I gave him some of the most favorable coverage coming out of that. I said, he looks like he's in fighting shape. He's ready to take on Poilievre. The Conservatives can't be complacent. But, my colleagues who were down there covering it, lots of questions about why are you sticking around? Your poll numbers stink. Can't you smell them? But also a couple about, can't you learn from Joe Biden? Here's the difference. Even though Biden was starting to fade in the polls, he was still in a one-on-one poll against Donald Trump. Trump might have been 49, 50%. Biden was still like 46, 47. He was just a couple points down. Justin Trudeau, the latest Leger poll for Post Media, it's 43 for the Conservatives, 25 for the Liberals, and the NDP well back at 15. So you can compare Trudeau and Biden. Trudeau's not close. Like, if he steps down, is Frankie Bubbles or Melanie Joly really going to turn things around that quickly? I don't think so.
Well, as you and I have had this ongoing debate, and
You're wrong.
and most of our readers agree with you, although I think some of them have some hope in the mix. I had felt that what he was waiting for was a Trump victory, and then it allows him to say what is the official last Hail Mary pass, which is, do you really want to have a Donald Trump in Washington and a Pierre Poilievre up here in Canada? I think that would have peeled off a few votes for him, not enough to make a difference.
No, because there was a poll earlier this year that showed more Canadians thought Poilievre could handle Trump better than Trudeau.
Yeah, and Trudeau, Poilievre is winning on all the indicators that Trudeau needs: young people, women, and so on. And this has been going on for more than a year. So, I talked to members of the Liberal caucus and staffers, and so do you. They all want him to go. They all want him to go. They just don't have the gumption to get up on their hind legs and tell him to go. And I've never seen anything like it. I went through it with Mr. Chrétien and the Martin guys, and the Turner guys went through it with Chrétien guys, and the Martin guys went through it. Like, the Liberal Party is about one thing. It's about winning, right?
Mm-hmm.
How to win. Win, win, win. That is the number 1, 2, and 3 priority. And it looks like they've given up. I tweeted this morning, Brian, I was searching for a metaphor to describe what they're like this summer. And they remind me, it's like a death row inmate who's exhausted all of their appeals. The media and the mob have moved on, and they're just waiting for their execution date. That's what the Liberal Party feels like right now. Never seen anything like it.
So, look, there's still some speculation that, well, he might go after the by-election. So 2 by-elections, September 16th, the day Parliament resumes. Whose dumb idea was that? Let's call a by-election that there's a good chance we'll lose for the day Parliament returns, so that the next day we can be attacked. It's just bad planning all around. So the Winnipeg by-election, Elmwood Transcona, that's a knife fight between Pierre Poilievre's Conservatives and Jagmeet Singh's NDP. And there's a good chance the Conservatives, who have nominated a member of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers to go up against the NDP's candidate, who's the executive director of a business association, the Conservatives may win that one. But the
Yep.
NDP may win in La Salle-Verdun, a
Yep.
Montreal riding that was most recently held by David Lametti. It was held by Paul Martin when he was MP. But in 2011, 2015 time, that was an NDP riding. And so the Dippers could win it again. And the Liberals are currently facing a revolt from Montreal area Liberal staffers saying, oh, we won't go campaign in the by-election because we
Well,
don't like the party's
let me
position on
talk about
Gaza.
that. You and I became friends almost 20 years ago because you were a guy holding a microphone and I was one of the liberal staffers trying to spin you, and you were pretty spin proof, by the way. But the one thing, there's like, if you're a staffer, you don't have to work on every by-election. The Ford PCs uh, really expect people to work on by-elections, but you don't have to federally because there's a lot of staff up there. But the one rule is you do not on the brand. You do not go out and oppose your leader and your caucus and your party. And that's what these 52 pro-Gaza staffers have done. And in my opinion, and I'm no defender of Justin Trudeau, as you know, I think Trudeau should fire all of them. It's like, oh yeah, we're going to get some new boys and girls in to replace you, because that's not how it works. Like, it is outrageous that these staffers think they're so cocky, they're so arrogant, they're so stupid that they would come out and do something like that. Trudeau should not put up with it. He should fire them all.
You're not alone in saying that. I've heard from lots of former Liberal staffers, people like Flavio Volpe, whose dad was an MP, who, I'm sitting here at Queen's Park, the Ontario legislature, and Flavio was a junior staffer here all the way up to a chief of staff. Duncan D, who, a lot of people think Duncan's a big conservative. Well, he was Sheila Kopp's press secretary. There's
Yep.
a job I'd never want to have. All these former liberals dealing, pointing out the same thing. You can't do this. It's
Nope.
utter insanity. But so, I mean, those are the headaches Trudeau's doing. But let me ask you that other point. Do you still think he's going to step away? And if they lose in Montreal, which would not be quite as bad as losing Toronto St. Paul's, but if they lose in Montreal, does that add pressure on him to go?
Yeah, no, it's all over. Yeah, I still do think he is. The reason why, whenever I say, and I'm this lonely voice saying he's going to go, and I get people pushing back and saying he's a narcissist, he's an
Yeah.
egomaniac, and all those things are true. But I actually believe those are the reasons why he's going to leave. He can read a poll and can see he's been behind by as much as 20 points for more than a year. It's all over, like rigor
No,
mortis.
hold on. It started 11 months ago, September 2023. And so what I want to point out is the election is 14 months from now. You go back 15 months, the Liberals and Conservatives were tied, which brings me to my three rules. I get to say them again.
Listen to
Voters are
this.
fickle.
Kids, boys and girls, listen to Uncle Brian. Listen to this.
Voters are fickle. Polls can change. Campaigns matter. Like,
All true. All true. And I accept that. It's just the gap is yawning. And I don't think he wants to be the guy who, like Ignatieff, leads the Liberal Party of Canada to third place, because that's what he's looking at. However, Leger and the National Post, are saying this morning that Jagmeet Singh has shrunk to 15 points. Liberals
yeah,
are about 10 points ahead of him. So maybe he wouldn't go to third place, but he
it
sure
could
as
be third behind the block.
yeah, and he's going to get we might have the separatists as the opposition again, and the PQ in Quebec City. Won't that be a treat?
That'd be
But anyway, yeah,
fantastic, wouldn't it?
I still think he's going to go. And everybody, Brian and I have to buy him a fancy dinner if I'm wrong. I'm not sure what he has to get me if he's wrong.
Okay, so yeah, I'll buy you a fancy dinner at the Patrician. Nothing fancy since 1954. Let's end on this. He came out with a housing video the other day, and to me, it smacked of that slogan that we started hearing during COVID, when people were saying, "Oh, now's the chance for the Great Reset. Let's reimagine society." And there was that slogan from the World Economic Forum: "You will own nothing, and you will be happy." So he comes out with his new housing plan, And I want to hear from you as a progressive, as a, a former liberal. What do you make of this? His new housing plan ideas, we've got all this government land, but selling it off is bad, even though we already do it. We did under Mulroney, Chrétien, Harper, Martin, all of them through Canada Land Company. But now Trudeau says this is bad. We'll just lease you the land for 99 years and we'll build homes on it. Like, you're feeding into the people that are going to say, aha, the Great Reset. You're
Yeah.
feeding into that. And I'm not sure they're wrong if they think that, because like part of what Canadians want and are yearning for is not to become renters. We don't want to stay renters. Canadians want to be able to buy a home or have their kids buy a home. You want your kids, as they go out into the workforce, to be able to do what you did and buy a home. I don't think this solves that. And when I look at most of his policies on housing, which is one of the biggest issues and why young people have abandoned him, he's focused on affordable geared to income rentals. He's focused on building rentals. These are all things that need to happen, but he's not focusing on that Canadian dream aspect of one day, son, you can buy a home too.
And so full disclosure, I was the chief of staff that was in charge of the Canada Lands Corporation. So at that time, we were the biggest landowner in the country. But it wasn't, rolling fields of grain and beautiful flowers on a hillside, Brian. It was railway rights of way, and it was industrial lands, and it was land that people don't want to live on. This is why his housing plan is the purest of because the land that he's talking about will require extensive environmental remediation before you let anybody live there. It's just, again, he's just too late to the party. He's expressing concern about housing when, that issue started flaming. That his house caught on fire on that one, speaking about housing, 2 years ago. He should have been talking about this 2 years ago. It's too late for him to come to the issue now.
So I was on Saskatchewan radio with Evan Bray the other day, and he was asking about this issue. And so I pulled up the map of all the land that they're selling, and there's one plot in the entire province of Saskatchewan. It's in a tiny town called Kyle, south of Swift Current. Like it's smaller than Swift Current. In the entire province. I know it's not the biggest population, but one place. That shows you that it's not a good plan. There are buildings that they could use. CFB Rockcliffe is currently being redeveloped into housing. That's a 10-minute drive from Trudeau's home. Like, there are things they could be doing, but I think you're right. His plans, but we'll see what the voters think. Let us know what you think. Drop a comment down below. Share this on social media, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.